All right, hello. So today we're going to talking about how much we talk about our past, present, and future. Okay, so Dave Ellis wrote a book, Creating Your Future. Let's look at the top diagram. He says most people talk a lot about their past, right? And then they talk about their present a little bit, and they don't talk about the future that much, but when they do, he says the problem is they often break that down into worry and prediction. So worry, obviously not envisioning the future they would really like to have, right? And prediction is just more of the past, right? And his whole book is about how to create the future. Envision, plan, expect, anticipate, intend, and then how that can pull us into action. So before we move on to diagram picture rectangle number 2, what's fun is for those of us who have been Let's Create Tuesday for a while and we're doing our creativity more and more, some of us can actually say prediction is we're going to be creative because we've been doing it every Tuesday night and sometimes on other days, right? So that's not what he's really talking about. He's talking about most people that aren't creating the future that they want, and then they just create more of the past. So number two is fun. This is when I had Connor, the first kid. We lived in an apartment, 2-bedroom, Sherman Oaks, little courtyard, and sometimes I'd go out, and play with them out in the grass spot, with a blanket and toys and all that. And we had neighbors, super cool neighbors. They would walk by doing whatever they're doing, and then they would stop and they would talk to us. And I ended up calling it the circle of now, that when you're with a very small child, there is no past and no future, right? You roll a ball to them, you build a block, you're just in now. They don't have yesterday, they don't have tomorrow, it's right now. And my friends, the neighbors, would get caught up in this, and all of a sudden they'd go, oh my gosh, I need to be somewhere. And then they would run off because they got so wrapped up in now, the idea of time just disappeared, right? So that's some of what we, sports, right? Playing. As I saw Connor and Kaden grow older, I realized how much adults really weren't that used to being in the now, because a young child would walk in 2, 3, 4, probably 3 or 4 more. They can talk, and adults would then ask questions. What did you do yesterday? How was school? About the past. What are you going to do tomorrow? What do you want to be when you grow up? And I realized, oh my gosh, they don't know how to be here now, right? And to a child, their answer to being here now is playing. Because when you play, you're not thinking about tomorrow or yesterday, you're here. So, moving on to diagram number 3, and this is what Dave Ellis really talks about, the opportunity and for something for us to consider. And then I'll relate to it to our own creativity and where we're going and what we want to create. So he says maybe split it up into thirds, talk about the past some, right? Then live in the present, do things, be present, do things. And then the future, maybe we do a little bit of worry, seen by this W, just a little bit, right? And maybe we do some prediction, right? We see where we were, what's going on, what are we going to do tomorrow, and branch off of that. But then what he really talks about is the opportunity to create our future. And he says the real opportunity is to spend time, maybe every day, definitely every week, and really start going, what do I want to happen this weekend? What do I want to happen in a year? What I expect to happen? What do I anticipate? What do I intend to happen? What do I plan on happening? And I can tell you the way it's working with my life, the more I read his book and work with the material, is a little while ago, I was like, oh, I want the second Chevy and Sweetie book done by August 2021. And as soon as I said that and wrote it down, I started writing more because I was like, oh. And it's same with if we're planning on going to Disneyland tomorrow morning, right? Which we're not because of everything else that's going on in the world. But if we were, I would be going to get gas tonight, right? I would be making sure we have water bottles filled, and some snacks packed. And we would be doing that tonight. So the idea of as soon as I see a vision or have a vision, create a vision, have a plan, make an intention, then that calls me into action now. So I invite all of you to take a moment to think about your creativity, whatever projects, area that you're moving in, and take a moment and create a vision. Like, oh, I see myself doing this. Oh, I'd like to do this. Oh, I think it'd be a great idea to do this. Oh, this is the stage I would like to be. And not to do it from a place of pressure, right? If my friend calls me up and says, hey, I just got 2 tickets to Cancun, we're leaving tomorrow at noon, I'd go get my suitcase and start packing clothes, but not from a place of pressure, like, oh my gosh, now I've got to do this. Now I've got to pack and go to Cancun. It'd be like, oh no, this is what I'm doing to create this. And same with the writing, right? When I got the book coming up, August 2021, it's like, oh, where can I create time for this? Where am I at? Can I do this? How many chapters do I have going on right now? Where do I want to be? And so that's the idea. So the idea is to create this future with some time, thinking, planning, writing things down perhaps, envisioning, and when we do the vision, have fun with it, see us succeeding, and the more we do that, then it calls me into action now, because my brain plans on having that happen. Once I envision it, once I plan it, once I expect it, once I anticipate it, once I intend it to happen. And now, just to end this all off, we're going to do a reading from the Success Principle for Teens, which I'm reading with my 12-year-old right now. And we just read, so perfect timing. It's true, we usually experience what we expect to happen. This is why it's so important that we hold positive expectations in our mind. When you replace your old negative expectations, which is often people just thinking about the past and then getting more of it. So when we replace our old negative expectations with more positive ones, creating our future, seeing what we would like to have, with the more positive ones, your brain will help you accomplish those expectations. And even better than that, your brain will actually expect to achieve the positive outcomes. How cool is that? So how cool is that? All the best.